Now visible? Is it visible now?
Yes, ma'am. Now it's visible, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So 4 flags: carry, auxiliary carry, overflow, parity. So carry is depends on your D7 bit. If any additional carry is generated from D7 bit, carry flag will be set. In case of auxiliary carry, the carry is generated from D3 to D4, auxiliary carry flag will be set. And parity depends on your result. Odd number of ones, the parity flag will be set. Even number of ones, the parity flag will be reset. Okay. So coming into the sign number representation, your handling capacity of 8051 is from 0 to 255. Since it is an 8-bit processor, so the range is it can perform only 8-bit operation from 0 to 255. Regarding the sign number, it is divided into positive and negative number. So 0 to 255 is divided into positive and negative. Okay. So the positive case 0, 0 to 7F. In negative range starts from 80 to FF. In case of decimal number, so 0 to 128. So 0 to 128 are positive number. So the range is, 127. So the range is 0 to 7F. Okay. And negative number starts from 128 to 255. So 80 to FF under negative range. Okay. So the range of, remember the sign number operation, the number can range from minus 128 to plus 127. Okay. So the any number outside this range cannot be represented by this 8-bit signed number representation in your 8051 microcontroller. Is it clear now? Is it clear? Actually, minus 128 to plus 127 is your signed representation. In that case, considering your hexadecimal number 00 to 7F under positive range, 80 to FF under negative range. Is it clear now? Okay. So the negative representation will be holded by your D7 bit. For example, 80 means 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 in terms of binary. So the D7 represents your signed representation. If the D7 is 1 means this number is a negative number. Otherwise positive number. So all your positive number, the D7 bit is always 0. In case of negative, starts from 80 to FF, all the negative numbers, the D7 always 1. Okay, so this is the representation. So D7 holds signed magnitude and remaining bits, that is remaining all the bits represent your number. Okay, so these while programming the D7, using D7 we can identify the given number is a positive number or negative number. So D7 is 1 means the number is a negative number, otherwise a positive number. Any doubts regarding this? Any doubts? Okay. So next, coming into the overflow flag. So these are the rules for overflow flag. That is, the results of signed number operation exceeds or results of signed number is large. In case of 8051, if the result after your arithmetic logic operation, if the result is greater than 255, the overflow flag is set. That is, if the result exceeds the range. What is the range? Minus 128 to plus 127. If it is exceeding the value, your overflow flag will be set. And sum of two positive signed operands exceed 127 and difference of two negative operands less than minus 127, this overflow flag will be set. So the range is between minus 128 to 127. If it exceeds, the overflow flag is set. And fourth flag is according to your processor hardware, there is carry from D6 to D7, but no carry from out of D7 means the overflow flag will be set. So, fourth rule, there is a carry from D7, but no carry from D6 to D7. That case, overflow flag set. So, the overflow flag will depends on your result size, that is the maximum size of your result, and along with your carry flag. So if the result exceeds, your overflow flag set, otherwise the carry from D6 to D7 and no carry from out of D7 means your overflow flag set. And another rule is there is a carry from D7 but no carry from D6 to D7 means your overflow flag set. So this flag set after an addition or subtraction operation, if the result in the accumulator is outside the 8-bit range means your overflow flag is set. That is minus 128 to 127. In another, add or subtract of two number, the result in a number less than minus 127. If it is less than minus 128 or greater than 127, the overflow flag is set. Okay. Is it clear? Students, is it clear? So let's see some example regarding this overflow flag. Actually, in this case, let's try minus 2 add minus 127. So we are adding two negative numbers here. For minus 2, the hexadecimal representation FE, minus 127, the hexadecimal representation 81H. Okay. So add these two numbers and find out the status of your PSW except your overflow flag. Add these two numbers. So minus 2D is a negative number. So the hexadecimal representation for this one is FE. And similarly, minus 127 is the decimal number, hex representation 81. Add these two. First, you find out the PSW content. So find out the answer. Add these two. See, students, work out the example. Add these two number and tell me the answer. PSW content except overflow flag. Your carry is set. Say yes or no. Your carry. What is the status of carry? Set or reset? Yes. So what about your auxiliary carry? Set or reset? Auxiliary carry? Auxiliary carry, set or reset? Mixed answer, set, reset. Actually, reset. Reset is the correct answer. What about parity? What about parity? Odd parity or even parity? Odd number of ones or even number of ones? Odd number of ones. Okay. So 0, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 1. Okay. So check your answer. This minus 129. So this minus 129 comes under the range of your 8-bit microcontroller. Is it comes under the range of 8-bit microcontroller? What is the range? Your range is minus 128 to plus 127. So the value is exceeded here. Okay. So similarly, based on your overflow condition, there is no carry from bit 7. There is no, this is the D6. So there is no carry from bit 7 and carry from D7. Okay. So overflow flag is set to 1 in this case. Overflow flag is set to 1. So what is the answer here? So after adding these two numbers, your answer is 7F. According to your hexadecimal addition, the answer is 7. But we have to get this 81. So minus 127, the hexadecimal value for this minus 127 is 81. But we are getting 7F. So the overflow flag is set to 1 to indicate that your result is exceeded. We have to adjust this value because the result is in 2's complement form. So adjustment is needed for this particular answer. So the indication of overflow is that whether the result is exceeded or not. If it is exceeded, overflow flag is set to 1. Okay, is it clear now? Is it clear? So I am adding minus 2 with minus 127. Okay. So the answer will be minus 129. So that 129 is the outside the range of your 8051 microcontroller. Okay. So the overflow flag is set to indicate that your result is exceeded. So that is the role of overflow flag in 8051 microcontroller. Is it clear now? So the result is out of range of 8-bit signed number. Your signed number range is minus 128 to plus 127. Okay. So let's try this example in your simulator, 8051 simulator. So first I'm loading accumulator with FE, that is equivalent to your minus 2. Okay. And next I am loading minus 127, that is 81 to B, that is equivalent to your minus 127. After that, I am adding accumulator content with B register content. Okay. So let's run this code. So step-by-step execution. So what is the first instruction? Your accumulator is loaded with FE. Okay. And next, your 81 is loaded with B register. After that, I am adding accumulator with B register. Okay. What is the answer now? Your accumulator answer after addition, 7F. Okay. Here you can see that your carry flag is set to 1, overflow flag is set to 1, parity is set to 1. So the indication of overflow flag is here. Your result is exceeded. That is, your result is out of range of 8-bit signed number. Okay. So to get a original value, you have to take again 2's complement. Okay. For 2's complement, you have to complement the accumulator content to perform 1's complement operation. So CPLA. Next, increment your accumulator for identifying your 2's complement answer. Okay, so let's run this code now. So now accumulator is loaded with FE and B register is loaded with 81, and adding both the numbers, your result is F7F. I am taking 1's complement now. So the answer is 80. Okay, I am taking 1's complement. And next, 2's complement. So this is your original answer. So in this way, we can extract our original number by calculating 1's complement, and after that, incrementing the accumulator content. So what is the steps to be carried out for calculating 2's complement? You have to take first 1's complement. After that, add 1 with the 1's complement answer. Okay. Students, is it clear now?
Ma'am?
Yeah, one second. Tell me. Yeah.
Ma'am,
What
ma'am, can you please show how to find the address in SFR, ma'am?
How to?
Find the address.
So go to virtual MCU. So this is the address for corresponding all the registers. So your accumulator content 81. So this area is a special function register area. We can view all the register value along with your address. Every register is incorporated, that is associated with one 8-bit address. For example, A register means the address of your accumulator is E0. B register means F0. And this is the content of your accumulator. This is content of your B register. Is it clear? Idam question Bala Meenakshi.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The overflow flag, the problem is clear. Is it clear? Any
Yes,
clarification regarding this?
No, ma'am.
No? Okay. So do the second problem. Add -3 with -125. Please complete this one. And check whether overflow flag is set or not. Find out the answer. So take down the problem. I am adding -3 with -125. Our result will be -128. And hexadecimal representation of -3 is FD. Hexadecimal representation of -125 is 83. Add these two and find out the carry flag and overflow flag status. Please, students, work out the problem. Otherwise, you will not understand the flag concepts in 8051. It is very important while doing our programs. This concept is very important. Otherwise, it's very difficult to write your assembly level language. So find out the result is within a range of your 8-bit signed number first. Or flag is reset, carry is set. Very good. Have all of you completed? Students, please work out. Otherwise, it is very difficult to follow your flag concepts. Completed. Okay, very good. Dinesh Kumar. I want quick response, please. Have all of you got the same answer? Okay, very good. So the answer is 1 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. Okay, 1 and your carry is 1. So your answer is 80. So 80 is within the range. Okay, 80 is within the range. So your overflow flag is resetted. So to summarize, overflow flag is used to determine if arithmetic sign operates as overflow. That's all. Suppose there is a chance of overflow, we need to adjust the value. So the correction is needed for the sum. That is the concept of overflow. For that, we have to take 2's complement for our answers, for our results. Is it clear? Is it clear, students? Okay. So next. So this is for signed addition. Next one is for signed subtraction. So I have considered 3 examples. Okay. So let's look at the signed subtraction. I have considered 3 conditions here. That is subtracting 2 positive numbers, subtracting 2 negative numbers, and different sign numbers. Okay. So first example. So subtracting positive number from the another positive, that is 100 minus 126. Okay. So let's look at here. That is the number, say 100 in decimal format, and I am subtracting this 126 from this 100. Okay. So answer is I'm subtracting minus 126. 100 minus 126. According to the decimal subtraction, the answer will be minus 26. The result is in negative form. So if the result is in negative form, and according to the result, there is no chance of overflow. Okay. And this is being a negative number, your carry flag will be set to 1 and overflow is 0 because it is within the limit. Okay. And this negative representation, that is this minus 126, that indicates that the number is in 2's complement. Number is in 2's complement form. Again, we have to take the original form by complementing and incrementing your number. Okay. Let's do it in the simulator for this example. So the first line, accumulator is loaded with 100. According to your problem, the given problem, the given input is a decimal number. So I'm loading the accumulator with 100 and I'm loading B register with 126 and subtracting B register from accumulator. Your result is in negative form. For converting into true form, I am incorporating complement accumulator and increment accumulator. So we will execute this code step by step. So first step, 100 is loaded into accumulator. In terms of hexadecimal, 64. So 64 is loaded into accumulator. So look at here. In this table, your 100 is loaded into accumulator. Next step, 126 is loaded into B register. Now I am subtracting these two values. So what is the answer? I am getting E6. Okay. So the E6 is not in a true form, that is in 2's complement form. So I am complementing accumulator 90. Okay. And next 1A. What is the decimal equivalent for 1A? 26. Okay. So look at here. Carry is said. Carry is indicating that after subtraction, the number is the negative number. Okay. And overflow is reset because the value is the signed number is within the range. So overflow flag is reset and parity is set. Okay. Is it clear? So once again, I am summarizing this one. So I'm taking two decimal numbers, two positive numbers, 100, 126, and subtracting this 126 from 100, I am getting minus 26. That is, it's a negative result. So your carry flag is set to 1. According to your 8-bit microcontroller architecture, so this result is within the range. Okay. So your overflow flag is reset. Okay. So this result is not in a true form. Again, we have to take a 2's complement. Okay. So 100 is loaded into B register, 126 is loaded into B register. Subtracting these two values, complement accumulator, increment accumulator, and after the execution, I am getting 26. So this 26 is holded by your accumulator. So based on subtraction operation, your carry is set to 1 to indicate that the result is negative. Result is in negative form. And next, your overflow flag is reset to indicate that the result is within the range. Is it clear now? Okay. Any doubts? So next example, we have two negative numbers here, minus 61, minus 120, so 116. So minus 61 plus 116. So the result will be positive number, that is 37. So based on the result, your range is, that is the result is within the range. So what about your overflow flag status now? So the overflow flag status is 0. Overflow flag status is 0. And what about carry? Carry is 0. So the carry is 0 to indicate that the result is in true form. There is no need of 2's complement operation. That is 2's complement operation. So the result is in true form. There is no requirement for 2's complement. Okay. Is it clear now? So if you have any doubts, you can ask. So the second case, we have considered two negative numbers. Okay, minus 61 and minus 116. So after subtraction, we got 37. It's a positive answer. So overflow flag will be 0 and carry flag is 0 and result is in true form. So there is no requirement for 2's complement operation. Is it clear? Okay. So what is the third case? Yes, tell me.
What to do if both the overflow flag and the carry flag are set?
What?
If both the overflow flag and the carry flag both are set, how to calculate the answer, man?
Actually, so based on the flag setting, we can conclude that whether it is a negative number or positive number, whether the result is within a range or result is exceeded, whether 2's complement operation is required or not. So user side, using PSW, we can conclude your arithmetic result. So that is the concept of PSW. So next case is your third case we are calculating, that is we are subtracting two different signs. That case your overflow flag will say. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, first case we are taking two positive numbers. Okay, that case overflow flag is reset. Second case we are subtracting two negative numbers, same sign we are considering. That case overflow flag is resetted. Third case we are considering two different signs. So that case your overflow may be set. Okay. So based on the PSW content, we can conclude the result. That is, we can observe some results based on your flag setting, whether it is in within the range or exceeds the range, whether it is a positive number or negative number, or based on the result, we can conclude that the result is within the minus 128 to plus 127. Okay, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am. But when to take the two's complement, ma'am? If the overflow flag is set, or if the carry flag
Actually, user should take care of that. Your 8051 just it will give the answer only. Your
yes, ma'am.
8051 actually your based on this program, just you can see here, your processor will perform only subtraction operation, and the result based on your subtraction, your result is some answer. Suppose if you want some original answer, your programmer program that particular number and extract the original value. Your processor will perform only operation. Based on the overflow flag, we have to correct the answer. We have to adjust the answer.
Here the overflow.
Indicate it will overflow flag, that is based on your processor architecture, it will indicate whether the result is exceeded or not. If it is exceeded, your user responsibility is we have to convert that answer from 2's complement form to true form. That's all. Your processor will give the results alone. Based on the PSW, we have to convert that result from 2's complement to true form.
Here the result is not, it is within the limit, no, ma'am.
Yeah, which one?
In these two examples, minus
Actually,
26.
it is used on based on the carry flag. The number is a negative number. If the carry is set, means I am subtracting one value. That is, here I am subtracting larger number from smaller. That case carry is set. Your borrow flag will be set. So
Yes,
carry
ma'am.
is nothing but here borrow. Borrow is set means the number is in negative range. So we have to take 2's complement. The result is not in a true form. So there is a requirement of 2's complement operation here. Because we will not get original answer for this particular based on your 8051 architecture. Just you stick on to the 8051 architecture. So based on 8051 architecture, it will subtracting 100 minus 126. So we are getting some negative answer. The result is in negative form. For user understandability, we have to convert that answer into true form. But your processor will perform only subtraction operation. Based on this carry flag status, I have to convert that answer into true form. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Venkat? Any other doubts? So what is the third case here? Just tell me whether overflow is set or not. Please do it yourself. Both the signs are same here. Is there possibility of set the overflow flag? There is a chance of setting overflow flag here. Whether it exceeds the limits. Find out the answer. What is the answer? Overflow is set or reset? Overflow is set. What about carry? What about carry? Okay. Actually, here both the signs are same, so there is a chance of overflow here. Okay, and this minus 199 exceeds the limit. We need to adjust the answer. So this is the conclusion. Okay. So to summarize, the overflow is just used to determine if the arithmetic signed operation has overflow. That's all. Okay. User side, we have to program the result and extract the original answer. So based on 8051 architecture, it will calculate the either for example, subtraction means it will perform only subtraction operation. Based on the input, it will produce some results. Okay. So user responsibility is you have to convert that answer into original answer. Okay. So using programming, we can convert that 2's complement to true form. Any other doubts regarding this? So let's try all these examples in your simulator. All the three cases and the example 2, that is minus 3 add minus 125. Okay. So try all the examples using your simulator. So next we move on to IO ports. So any difficulty you have faced during your installation or programming your MCU 8051 IDE? Any difficulties? Have you tried all the logical operations? Any doubts? Have you tried all the logical operation, or have you all got the output?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a trouble in it, ma'am. How to fix the loop in it, ma'am?
I will explain later. Next class I will explain.
Okay.
The coming Thursday class I will explain. So all your overflow concepts, overflow flag concepts and carry flag, so you can understand clearly while doing programs. Okay. So don't worry about that. Okay. So next is your IO. So your 8051 has 32 IO pins configured as 4 8-bit parallel ports. That is P0, P1, P2 and P3. So all the ports can be configured either as an input or output. Okay. So all the ports, your P0, P1, P2, P3 can be configured either as input or output. So first port 0. So the port 0 lines can be used as IO port lines. That is 0.0 to 0.7. So when suppose when it is not used as a IO port, the particular port 0 act as a multiplex low byte address and data bus for external memory design. Okay. So when it is not as IO port, suppose your 8051 is connected to external memory, that case your port 0 configured as multiplexed address and data bus. AD0 to AD7. So using ALE signal, we can demultiplex this line. For example, ALE is equal to 0 means your P0 provides D0 to D7, provides 8-bit data. Suppose your ALE is equal to 1, it provides lower order address A0 to A7. So it acts as a multiplex lower byte address and data bus for external memory. So generally, it is configured as a general purpose IO. When external memory is connected, it acts as a multiplexed address and data lines. So these lines are demultiplexed by using this ALE signal. ALE signal is nothing but address latch enable. Please note it down, address latch enable. If ALE is equal to 0, your P0 provides data information, otherwise it will provide address information. So next one is the port 1. Port 1 lines are used as only IO lines. Only for IO lines, does not have any dual functions. Okay. Next, port 2. Port 2 lines can be used as IO lines and its operations very similar to your port 0. It is similar to your port 0. When external memory is connected, P2 lines are used as a higher order address bus, that is A8 to A15. A8 to A15 to access external memory. Okay. So here, when external memory is connected, the size of address bus in 8051 is 16-bit. Okay. So 8-bit will be provided by your P0 and remaining bits will be provided by P2. Okay. So P0 and P2 combined together to generate 16-bit address lines. It will carry 16-bit address information. Is it clear? Is it clear? Actually, 4 ports, port 0, port 1, port 2, port 3. Port 0 lines can be used as IO port lines. When the external memory is connected, it will provide lower order address information, address or data information. So it is a multiplexed one. So it can be demultiplexed by using ALE signal. P1 can be used as a IO lines and it doesn't have any dual function, and P2 can be used as IO line and its operation similar to port 0, and it will provide your higher order address information. Okay. So next, port 3. So port 3 lines can be used as IO lines, and these pins are multifunctional and they have special functions. Your P3.0 can be used as serial input port, and that is RXT, and 3.1 is used as serial output port. When it is not used as a IO port, it will provide some alternate function. So 3.0 and 3.1 is for serial communication. 3.2 and 3.3 is for external interrupt handling, and 3.4 and 3.5 for timer operation, and 3.6 to 3.7 for your external memory operation, for read and write operation. Okay. Next one is your memory organization of 8051. So in memory, the size of your 8051 internal ROM is 4 KB. ROM size 4 KB and RAM size 128 bytes. So this ROM memory is also called flash memory. So the size is restricted, that is up to 4 KB we can store your program information. Okay. Suppose consider this first diagram. Okay. In case of your 4 KB of internal RAM, the address range is 00 to 0FF. Okay. If the address space, that is your program address, exceeds this value, that is exceeds this 4 KB, then your CPU will automatically fetch the code, that is will automatically fetch the code information, that is instructions from external memory, the address range 100 to FF. Okay, so for this scenario, this external access pin must be pulled high. So when the EA pin is high means your CPU first fetches the instruction from the internal memory, that is address range of 000 to 0FF. Okay, if the address range exceeds this value, then instructions are fetched from the external ROM. So the maximum size of this external ROM is 64 KB allowed. That is address range from 100 to FF. And there is another way to fetch the instruction, completely ignore the internal memory and fetch the instruction only from the program memory. Okay, for this scenario, your EA pin must be 0. So must be connected to ground. So in this case, the memory address of external ROM will be from 00 to FF. So this is the memory structure is followed in your 8051 architecture. Okay. So your internal memory capacity is 4K. If the capacity is exceeded, your processor automatically fetches the instruction code from external memory. The maximum external memory capacity is 64 KB. For that case, your EA must be connected to +5 voltage. Okay. And suppose if EA is connected to ground, the internal memory is completely ignored, and your 8051 will automatically fetch the codes from external memory, starting the address range from 00 to FFF. Any doubts?